Yes, we're busy. Oh, right.
All right, Marco.
Cancel.
Cancel?
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Cancel.
It's a red-letter day.
Safely ashore.
All 14 volunteers on call for the Salcombe Lifeboat have turned out. And it's a false alarm.
What was it, Peter? 2 windsurfers who were in severe trouble at 1:30 and now safely ashore at 1:35. We've got everybody here.
Of course, I come back from holiday.
Hands up. Hands
Here's
up.
Colin, the publican. Roger, the hearing aid specialist, is back from holiday. And last to arrive is Lucy, the milk lady.
Never seen so many.
As for Mark, the hairdresser, he was in mid-shampoo.
It's me, it's all right, it's been postponed, so I'll be able to finish your hair off, okay?
How often does this happen?
Not very often.
Not very often.
Really, no.
Not very often at all.
Normally if it gets that far, we're normally on our way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from when the pages go off to when we're on the boat, we're talking about 6 minutes. So, for them to get a call in that 6 minutes is quite unusual, really.
I'm not liable to get a heart attack for another 3 or 4 weeks. I haven't got here from the pub in 3.5 minutes flat and left somebody in the middle of half a pint just about said bye. Kim's now running the bar, so. Oh well, I'll go back and start work again now. That's me fun for the day. See you later.
The Shipwrights Arms is the crew's local, and Colin Power's the landlord. After 25 years in the Navy, he took early retirement. With his Norwegian wife, Kim, he came here to Salcombe to run the pub. Home from the sea.
You enjoyed doing the pub, Colin?
Sorry?
You enjoyed being a publican?
It's been different, I must admit, but say with the last couple of years, with the recession, it's been hard work.
It sounds like a romantic existence, though, doesn't it, running a small...
Oh, it's idyllic, you know, it's everybody's idea of retirement, you know, let's go and run a little pub by the seaside, but those days, unfortunately, are long gone.
In winter, in the depths of a recession, there's only a handful of locals and the boat crew. And this spring, the brewery will be looking for a rent increase.
Keep it weak, won't you?
For Colin, the boat is a kind of escape. It's a blustery January morning. The crew are out on a training run off Start Point Rocks. They're all volunteers. The only full-time member is coxswain Frank Smith. And when they're at sea, he's the boss. With his steady nerve and his sense of humour, he's the natural leader.
Right, we're going to do a man overboard exercise now. Obviously we can't do it for real because we're not allowed to put people in the water, so we do it with a fender. So all the crew will have a go now of picking somebody out of the water because it's very nice today, so it gives them a bit of a chance to get the feel of the boat. Alright, Kevin, when you like. Man overboard! Man overboard! You don't want to shout too much, else they'll think we're a bunch of idiots. So we go ahead on the starboard edge. Not too much. And stern on the fore.
She'll spin.
She'll spin in a row. Go to about 1,000 reds. Don't worry about picking it up this time. Alright, leave me there.
Warnings of gales in Tyne, Dogger, Humber, Thames, Dover, White.
In the afternoon, the weather starts to close in. It's going to be a foul night.
Already a severe weather warning's been issued to shipping and power lines have been brought down.
In the pub, Colin whiles away the time. He's become good at skittles. For his wife, Kim, the waiting doesn't get any easier.
When he is out and it is rough weather, I am frightened, and it does affect me enough lot. I don't like it, especially if it is dark and bad weather. I don't like it. It does more to me than it does to him, believe you me. And Kevin always says, well, she's always around. I'm always around because I'm scared not to be around. I need to see him coming off the boat and I need to be around.
What's going on then, Frank? Yeah, and?
And, well, they haven't got there yet.
On a night like this, most people would settle down in front of the TV, but not Frank. He spends the evening crouched over his radio scanner. After 21 years, his wife Bree has seen it all before.
It wouldn't do me any good to worry. It wouldn't do the family any good to have a worried mum, if you like. Maybe just a little bit, you know, they're going to get a bit wet going out over the bar if it's breaking badly. And then you tend to forget, because once the engines have gone out of ear reach, if you like, then you tend to forget that there are 5, 6 men on the boat going out to rescue a casualty.
Sure enough, at 1:20, the call comes from the Coast Guard.
Brixton Coast Guard here. We've got the Janet C, a small coaster. Yes. Now she's 2.5 miles south of start point. Yeah. She's a complete power breakdown. Yeah. Could we put the lifeboat on 20-minute standby? Yeah, okay.
Frank's instinct tells him not to wait.
Drift down to the shore, so the decision's been made to launch rather than wait. So if we've got to take anybody off or whatever, we can do it in sea time rather than wait till the end.
Right.
We understand there's a tug coming from Tor Bay, so everything should work out okay.
The drifting cargo ship has lost all power 2 miles out, with a force 8 gale pushing it onto the rocks. It's going to be a close call. Meanwhile, Kim can't sleep. She goes down to the bakery to get pasties for the crew.
Can I have 12?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Please?
Yes.
Have 2:30. They should be in, well, we don't know really, I mean, what it is all about, but hopefully they should be in about sort of half an hour or an hour from now. I say hopefully, because you don't ever know.
Frank's instinct was right. When they reach the scene, there's no tug and no helicopter. Out of control, the coaster is being pushed relentlessly toward the start point rocks, and now there's less than a mile in it. Frank has to decide whether to try to save the ship or just get the crew off before it's too late.
Fine, you're going in pretty close. If you can let me know in good time so I can get the helicopter to take personnel for it.
He decides to go in to put a rope on board. He'll try and hold the coaster till help arrives, although it's 100 times the size of the lifeboat.
Release this tow in Tor Bay, yeah?
Don't worry, don't panic. Take your time, man. Take your time, Brian. Don't worry. Well, you're going to have to hang all night.
With the coaster rearing up and down in a 40-foot swell, they can't get the rope on board. They try again on the other side.
We're concerned about the safety of your vessel and would now like to update our broadcast and priority to a Mayday relay. Do you agree with that?
Try yours!
I think it might be advisable if this boat can't get a tow line on it. At least take some of the crew off.
Right, you lot, you're going to have to hang on. Plenty of time, don't panic.
Brian Carter finally gets the line on board. Now it's a race against time and tide. For a full hour, Frank holds the coaster by expertly working helm and throttle. But still the gap is narrowing. It's only half a mile now between them and the rocks below the lighthouse. At the worst possible moment, the tow rope breaks. They have to go through the whole maneuver again to get another one on board.
Hang on a minute, just hang on a minute. I don't want the underfather one on.
On the radio, the Coast Guard breaks in to inform the crew of the coaster that their situation is now perilous, as if they needed telling. Back on dry land, it's now 4:30 a.m. Kim's been through this many times before with Colin, right back to his Navy days.
I still have a very, very difficult time to talk about the Falklands, because he just phoned me at work and said, I'm off. I said, off where? He said, I'm off to the Falklands. And that was it. And he went out on the Hermes. And I had 3 telegrams saying that he was missing in action. And as you can see, I still have a very hard time to talk about that period. When you have experienced that your man is sort of died in you 3 times, how can you ever get over that?
After 4 hours, the tide starts to slacken, and Frank and the crew begin to win their battle to keep the coaster off the rocks.
Yeah, this is Jones. We are pulling away all the time here at the moment, now 1.25 off.
Finally, the tug arrives to take over the tow. The coaster and the lives of her 7 crew are saved. It's been quite an ordeal, even for experienced lifeboatmen. And when it's over, some of them succumb to seasickness and sheer exhaustion.
Cancel the Mayday relay and release your units. The balls will be over.
At 6 o'clock, they turn for home. A remarkable rescue, this, by any standard. No lifeboat has ever held a ship that size for so long. Instinct, nerve, skill, luck, call it what you will. Frank and the crew had it tonight.
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
All
I
right.
was really worried this time.
No need to worry, Ken. She's in good hands.
God. Well, I better go and hoover up the pub now. But I know they're back safely. Oh.
The morning light shows just how close they came. 10 years ago, attempting a similar rescue, though in worse conditions, the R.N.L.I boat was launched too late. The crew all drowned. And if all that drama weren't enough, Colin returns to find a 2-fold rent increase from the brewery in his morning mail. It's way beyond his means.
I don't honestly believe that the figures that they're using and the rent that they want, that anybody will find it viable as a lease property. After that, it's up to them. I don't know, but
I think the sad thing as well, as you say, you've been here 5 years, you're starting to become a part of the community, and then you have to leave.
I hope we have. We did our best, and that's it.
Yeah, that's right. You can't do no more, can you?
I mean, we came here with expecting to have 10 years. It's like playing a game of football, then halfway through the middle of the game, you move the goalposts. And that's what they've done. They've moved the goalposts on us, so. Train.
When do you end here then, March?
March 1st. I wouldn't have done what I've done up until now if I thought that it was going to have this sort of ending.
Fine day, boss.
You naughty stopouts.
A few days later, Frank's off on what is for him a rare trip out of Salcombe. He's off to reminisce to a group of canal boat enthusiasts up in Bradford-on-Avon in Wiltshire at a pub run by an old lifeboating mate. By the time they hit the M5, the old lifeboat songs are blaring out of the speakers, especially their anthem, Home from the Sea.
Just to explain what's going on very quickly, because I understand you don't like a lot of talking. Back in 1962, we had a new lifeboat sent to Salcombe called the Baltic Exchange. In 1962, she came in the end of 62. I think we got a hiccup there somewhere because that one should have been ready to play.
At 4 in the morning, Frank's still at it.
And we used to go down every time the maroons went up, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you turn up, never wanted. You never went to sea, ever.
You weren't really truly made welcome either.
No, you
weren't allowed to go in the lifeboat house.
No, you never. If you went down the lifeboat store and there was a lifeboat shout, you never went in the boathouse. You never went in the boathouse. You stood outside the boathouse.
Yeah.
And until you were asked to go in.
It was very much an inner sanctum.
Oh yeah.
Because I was one of the first inshore men who had joined the crew.
Yeah.
That wasn't to do with anything to do with the sea.
I think it's changed though.
Well, yes, it has.
Yes, it has.
Oh, change? Of course it's changed.
Of course it has.
There isn't a crew member today.
Dave, you don't know.
That doesn't go.
Hang on a minute.
I mean, when we.
Excuse me.
No, it's wrong to say that because when the crew then was 8, there was 8 crew on the lifeboat, and there was 2 reserves, so there was 9. There was only 9 crew,
That's right.
and you could guarantee that 8 men would run around that corner. Now today, in today's lifeboating, there isn't a crew member that doesn't go to sea in a year on a shout. Never.
Meanwhile, in Salcombe, the boat has been launched without Frank. There's been a red distress flare reported near the cliffs.
What was that? Rabbiting. It might be. They had some red lights. It might be a red rabbiting light. Well, somebody's just spotted it. One of the Coast Guards, the mobile Coast Guards people. He's just going to go and try and find. There's 2 lads here, apparently. He's going to go and try and have a chat with them. Oh dear.
2 guys out.
2 guys out rabbiting, and apparently they use red lights. I've never, being a vegetarian, I don't go do much rabbiting. But anyway, they're out there, and that it might just be. They're just going to have a look. It may not be. It's worthwhile being here, but it may not be.
Talking about rabbiting, if you can keep your eyes peeled.
I'm doing that as well, my love.
Just trying to see which direction the wind's coming from here. Coming really easterly, I think, today. Yeah, I'll give it easterly today, I think. I'm absolutely shattered after last night. We've been really busy in the shop and had all that last night. The house looks like a bomb's hit it. I've got a mountain of paperwork. And my mother rang up last night to say, what do you want for your birthday? I think an extra pair of hands would come in handy at the moment. But never mind.
They had a rough night in Bradford-on-Avon too. At the Canal Tavern, Frank is just surfacing.
Shove off, will you?
That's our plan. You get in, you've been snoring all bloody night. You get that squeaky on there.
You're bloody laughing, Kevin. You nearly got lynched last night.
Never. That's it.
Is it unusual to get a call out when Frank's away?
No, it's usual that we do get a call out when Frank's away. The last time we went away, we were out for 19 hours. And I'm not particularly good at doing radio logs, as you've probably heard. And it took Stan and me a day to do it at the end of the day. It was murder, it really was. But it was Stanley was the coxswain then. And unfortunately, we never found, there was a lad, he went off the afts of a fishing vessel, and he was never found, unfortunately. It was very sad indeed. But yeah, we were out for a colossal amount of time. But it goes well. You see, Frank trains us so well, you see. That's what it is.
At the Shipwrights Arms, the brewery have made it painfully clear to the whole town that Colin and Kim can't afford the rent increase and that they're looking for a new licensee.
Well, I knew it was going to happen, but there's nothing like putting the kiss of death on you, is it? I'm not so sure that the planning people will approve, but I have a feeling that it's no blocked off the fact that we're a pub at all, which it has. Locks the pub sign on, I might as well lock the doors and say goodbye. All you'll see from down the road now is a big to let sign. And people won't obviously see that it's a pub, so they'll say, to let, it must be empty, walk straight past it. So, Entrepreneur Estates Limited have put the kiss of death on it, for which I thank them very much. Well.